Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Phantasm Star. Today with me, as always, is my good friend Biss.
Well, hello there.
Yes, I appreciate you for coming in today because I know that you're not feeling the best right now, which, you know, is not the most common thing these days.
I mean, just going strong with it. I just have to. We are like Boji, just with courage and just
Yeah, but I appreciate you, especially like the fact that like you speed run this certain show that we're about to talk about.
I had to actually, but it was a fun watch.
Oh,
I um beginning, naturally we're talking about Reign of Kings. I have a question for you. Um, episode 11. You said that Gurwan and Star, right?
sorry, what was the question?
Like episode 11 is the end of Gurwan, right? Like it's the
Yeah,
end of the first. It didn't feel like that.
I know. Like it doesn't feel like it, but at the same point, like it just kind of like does end because where they're going to because next episode's actually really fucking good.
I'm glad. I can't wait to watch other episodes. But let's begin from the
Okay,
first
okay,
episode.
let's get through the first part. So before we begin with talking about the story and everything. So yes, we are talking about Ranking of Kings. Now we talked about this last week on the like talking about like all the Crunchyroll awards and specifically what caught our eye. Well, one of the things that caught our eye was Ranking of Kings. So I guess let's before we start talking about the episodes, I want to hear what your first impressions are about like the show itself. Like even before seeing it, what did you think?
So before I began watching it, I always like had this because like on Twitter I was like I follow other people who also like watch a lot of shows. So like and I always like see people mentioning this show like how good it is, and also like any YouTubers making videos about it, and then I'm like I was like and I'm interested. And like after the Crunchyroll awards, not even the Crunchyroll awards, even like the weekly charts of Anitrends and like other polls and rankings of like other sites, I always had a ranking of Kings highly. Like they always like were second place, first place, third place, third place, like and I was like intrigued. I was like interested in like, oh, okay, people like the show. It seems like I saw some panels, some scenes from the anime, and it has good animation. It has really good animation. So um, I was interested. You know, I was
Yeah,
interested.
it was funny because like from my first impression, now during like my phase of reacting to stuff on my channel, I didn't really like consider Ranking of Kings to be good just based on like the thing alone. I'd be calling myself a hypocrite if I didn't think that. But like I ended up watching Sakugan during that season, but I will admit that like now Ranking of Kings is probably the best anime of the fall season.
I mean, I'm gonna disagree, but
Well,
it's
what
it's
else
it's
came
a
out
close
that
second. It's a close
next to what
third
A6?
second. Naturally, come
Uh,
on. It's
no, I
I had
don't. Okay, we'll get into that. We'll get into that later. I think they're
yeah.
both good in their own way.
I
But
mean,
I think what caught my like, I think what I found the most interesting, like just based off of like I'm so glad I was proven wrong about this because I think that in my mind, um, like Ranking of Kings is actually a lot more better than people give it credit for. Like if you haven't seen this series, I highly recommend it. It is so good.
Arking of Kings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of positives about it. First of all, really good animation. I think
Dude,
the animation is one of the
the characters, Boji and Kage are easily the best characters in the show, and next to the queen.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think there are a lot of other characters which are really good, but I think like the other characters, for example, Thomas and Haruko, also are great characters, but like they need more development. They need more things that we will like about them. I feel like.
Yeah, like
Um,
the thing about Ranking of Kings, like if you're not hooked by the series by episode 1, episode 2 was like easily like really hooks you in. It hooked me in at least.
yeah, yeah, no, I agree. I mean, like for me, watching anime is different from the earlier days. I have to watch like 3 episodes a day, or and not like more of it, because like otherwise I'm gonna get. I got to burn out on anime, so I mean, I have to watch less anime per day. Otherwise, will be a problem. But honestly, like I got hooked on it. I really liked watching it.
Yeah, like
It's
a
there's a
lot of
lot of it has a lot of good things about it. It's like uh, this is the whole story, the whole like the backstory of each character. Not just that, like even like when in episode 2, when you like when you see the backstory of Kage, and you see like this Shadow Clan and the Light Clan, and you're like, huh, so this is interesting. There's a whole backstory, there's a whole conflict between those two clans, and also like they also mentioned that the Shadow Clan betrayed the king, but it's actually not true. So like there's this whole like plotting, there's whole like two clans fighting each other. There's a lot of things that still are like haven't been mentioned in the story up to now, up to episode 11. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting things which still didn't, you know,
like
still.
like easily I think that the world building in just based on the first 12 episodes are probably some of the best of 2021 so far. Like I like it makes there's so much more mystery and so much more, you know, depth to characters. It's like you expect the unexpected in this show because you think that like a character goes is like this one typical anime character, which is like he's nice, but it turns out to be evil in a way. But like I feel like that what also I got from this show is like I and this is what I also recommended this to a friend, and he told me like he watched all of it. He's up to date, and he said it's like he felt like a whole like Ghibli vibe. Like this, like the art style and everything. Which I have to give congratulations to like Wit Studios for their all their hard work that they did on this series, which I did not know it was made by Wit.
Oh,
But
did you know? I
no,
mean,
I
it's
didn't
one of
know
the
either.
reasons. It's one of the reasons why people actually began watching it, because like it's with studio.
Yeah, but I like the whole aesthetic and the whole like thing remind me of like early like early animation or like early manga, you know what I mean? Like 1960s, 1970s manga.
Interesting. For me, it doesn't. For me, it just it's maybe because I didn't watch a lot of older anime. But like um, the art style feels. I think like one of the reasons why the animation is really good is the art style. They're easy to draw. Not just that, but like the people behind the staff behind the animation, the character design. I feel like they really work together to make the show much better and much like more expressive and more. Because like there's one shot when Daida is fighting against Thomas, and when he like gets a blow against his like wooden stick, you see his face going down and then up, like the animation of his eyes and like his eyebrows also moving at the same time. And and sweet and everything else, and you see his head like rotating. It's like there's so many things happening at the same time in that in like in, not just that, but like there are a lot of scenes where there's a lot of animation going on at the same time. For example, another fight is which I really liked is Drusi against the dog demons.
Oh yeah.
Um, it was an amazing, like animation wise, amazing. The whole how to use the cinematography in for the dogs, for the demons, and how they also use the shields of. It's just like there's so many things that you can say about animation.
Hello.
Or
Okay, there we go. Sorry, my
oh,
internet crashed. But yeah,
did
there's
you
a
did you
I
did you record what was it just what was just said?
uh can you say it again?
Hello, hello.
Yeah, you're good.
About okay.
Okay. So what were you saying?
About the animation of the fight against the demons against Drusi.
Yeah, like I think that the animation, especially for the I feel like the fight scenes were in the background for the most part, but I felt that like the storytelling and the like characters were like probably the biggest piece of the series that I absolutely loved. Like don't get me wrong, I like dude, I think that Boji is my favorite protagonist of 2021 so far. And Kage, if you like those two characters are so fantastic. It's so well done.
Mm, interesting take of 2021, right?
Of 2021.
Interesting.
Yes, I know that all the Yuji Itadori fans will be like, "What? That's impossible."
Without having watched the Jujutsu Kaisen, I mean, it's hard to. I mean, I don't think if I mean, I don't
Okay,
want to make
let me.
the fans angry.
Okay, let me. I don't care about the fans. Okay, but let me ask you a question. Like, how surprised were you when you found out that like Boji was both mute and deaf and had no
Is he
like strength whatsoever?
is he deaf?
Yeah, he's deaf. He's blind or not blind. He's deaf. He's mute, and he has no strength.
Yeah. The strength part, I think the reason why he, so the strength thing, I think the reason why he isn't no why he hasn't any strength is there's a good reason for it.
Oh, there is
You
a
know,
reason, but like I
yeah,
don't. You saw that, right?
yeah, it's like so basically the king boss made a deal with the devil, which and he had to sacrifice one of his sons or his sons basically, and so basically what happened is Boji, when he was born little and not like normally a giant, which is bigger normally.
Well,
So
well, that's not true. Like uh, er, in the later episodes, Deimos claims that Boji still has the abilities of a giant, but because of the curse, he became what he is now.
yeah, because like basically, normally a giant when he's born, it's bigger naturally and also stronger. But with Bosch, because of the curse, like you said, he doesn't have that. Like he basically the devil made a deal with King Boss about like that you have to sacrifice one, your son's power or the power of the giants of your
Yeah,
bloodline
like I
for
like it's kind of like the same story as Dorohedoro, or no, Dororo, which is like
Dororo.
the father of the main character. He chose to sacrifice one of his you know persons that was related by blood, so that way he can have the strength, so he can allow him to become stronger and help his kingdom. But in doing
Yep.
so, he cursed his first son Boji into. So that's what I find interesting about the series so far, is the fact that there are no clear indications who's a bad guy and who's a good guy.
I feel like King Boss, like as a character, he's really interesting because like at one side, when you first saw him and when people like talked about him, it was like, oh, he must be a chef. And after you discover like that, like he basically was the one who made the deal and made like budget like is now and everything else, and you said like saying you start thinking like, wow, he's a dick. What? And 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 now in episode 11, he said a lot of things to other characters in the entire year. Like there's something that he's planning for that even what's she called again? That even Miranjo doesn't know.
Yeah, the mirror.
Miranjo is Mirror, and like she knows a lot, but like she doesn't know exactly like what King Boss is like planning. I feel like in episode 11, I don't know if something else happens after episode 11. But
Yeah,
basically, like there's something that he's planning which we don't know up to episode 11.
yeah. I think it's the community's consensus that right at this moment, uh, the mirror or is like the main antagonist of the series, but we don't really know much about her besides obviously she knew King Boss, and she also knew what was I forget the spear guy, the spear hero's name.
Apis.
Appius. Because at first he was because up until that point he was trying to kill Didac or Dida uh
Mm.
for what he did, but he was stopped by the mirror. So obviously there's more to her story than just
Yeah,
uh
I feel like Miranjo, there's something about her also like I think it was episode 11 and 10 both, where you saw inside of Daida's body, you saw Daida actually like running and trying to trying to free himself. And at a certain point, you had this whole scene with Daida and Miranjo, where basically there were normal people, normal commoners, like trying to say like it's like to Miranjo, like it's her fault, everything else, like you were the one who killed us, and like it's whole scene with Daida like realizing like, oh hell no, like they said that they basically took the skin off Miranjo, so he basically like got angry about towards them, and this
yeah.
whole scene with them between the commoners and Daida, and what I really found interesting about that was like, so there's something about Miranda, the way she acts currently, that like the reason why she's acting like this is sus.
Yeah, you saw it in the uh in when Daida was inside King Boss's, you know, when King Boss was possessing, Daida's body, he had this whole premonition about, he was in when he was still thinking, he saw that little girl. Obviously, that was the same girl as Miranda, but so obviously, as soon as the story keeps going, we're going to learn more about her as what her motives is, because at the same point, she's also betraying King Boss in especially at the end of episode 11, because at the same time, all of like and we're getting ahead of ourselves. I'd like to more talk about like Boji and like
Yeah.
his training specifically. But
It's I mean, it's really interesting. Like, you have Boji naturally, which is the main character, but like the focus of the story, besides Boji, which, the more we go on, the more Boji will discover. The main focus of the story is also like, okay, we want to know answers about like each character, why they act like so, because naturally Boji is not always the main focus,
yeah,
right?
like I feel like that a lot of characters, especially like the royal family, gets a lot of good development. Like specifically like um Boji and Daida's mom. Like I love her, man. I think she's such a fantastic character.
Healing,
Yeah,
healing,
Keeling.
healing,
Keeling?
healing.
Healing,
No,
yeah,
healing,
yeah.
healing, healing.
Yeah, yeah. I absolutely love her. I think that like I was so surprised when it turned out that she wasn't like the stereotypical evil stepmother.
I was also really really happy. I think it was in episode 3 or 2 when Boji tried to escape and he fell from the
Oh
tower.
yeah, and then yeah, he was
Yeah,
trying.
and then he got saved by Kage, but like Nasrita didn't know, and healing came, on the ground near him, and like, and finally, Boji knew who was the one who always was healing him because the fight against Ida, the beatings he got from it from the trainings, he returned him on bed, and the one who always healed him was healing.
Well, it was also that the fact that during his youth when he lost his mom, she was like trying she was really trying to connect with him the entire time. She even learned sign language so that way she could ease into becoming more of a motherly figure to him. And I found that to be like I find that when the characters that specifically learn sign language just to get close to Boji, it makes it more hurtful when like if a character ends up being mean to him, and a lot of people. I'm glad that they led up to the fact that she still betrayed him by saying like, and I was hurt when I saw that because OG deserves the world. Like that kid is like so fucking good. But when she betrayed him, I was like, oh my god, how can she do this? How can these guys how can all these guys be so cruel to this kid? But when it was
Yeah, go on.
But in like her own sense, she was doing like the best she could as a mom and realized that she had to protect him. Cause like when you're and this is the common thing is that like a lot of people look down on Boji as a person because he puts on this fake smile, but everybody thinks that like he's not a capable leader because he's deaf and mute.
Yeah,
But
and that's one of the big reasons. That's one of the big plot points of the show is he wants to be king, but how can he be able to be a king? In the way he is right now. But like naturally, like the more we go on, the more we discover about him, and like also another big thing is I think it was episode 10 or no the episode I think it was episode 11 where or no it was episode 10 where he like when we saw like his training what his training paid off
oh
basically.
my god, we're gonna talk. I want to talk about that in a little bit. That was so good.
This part is
I
like
dude, I love Desmond or Desmond.
yeah is
Damo, sorry, Deimos. I love Deimos.
no, it was that part.
Which
That
character?
was no, that was
That was the Underworld King's brother.
yeah, that was the one who trained Boji. That one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Despa.
yeah, that Thomas is the other one.
I'm thinking. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I get all of them confused because there's a lot of characters.
Yeah, they have a lot of names.
But
I mean,
we know who we're talking about.
yeah, yeah, the guy who thinks his face is cool, the brother of the king of the underworld.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
back to what we were saying about but like I think that Boji as a character, I feel like that like especially as a main character. I find that it's so hard to create a main character, especially from one that like is so not relatable, but like you you understand his struggles. Like I feel like that nowadays it's so hard to do it, but I would say for a main character, specifically like Boji and I would even say Kage is a main character too because his backstory is just as heartbreaking.
We still don't know much about him besides him being part of the Shadow Clan. Like I feel like in the second core, uh, the more we
Which
go in, the more
that episode broke me so fucking hard.
it was really sad. So I'm really curious. Like, are they gonna introduce another kingdom to one who's after Kage? Because like if that happens, it'll be really interesting. Because like Boshi, he really likes Kage. So if they come after Kage, you know, Boshi will try to help them, and it's not just Boshi who's there. They also have like all the characters who supports Boji. So like you have this whole group of the light, which still we no we don't know much about them, and then you have Kage, who was Boji, who was healing, who has a lot of characters which support him. So like it will be really interesting to see how they will introduce the light clan to the story.
I can see that because at the we don't really know much about the kingdom that like Kage's clan really like helped out during when they were working for them. Like all we know is that like they weren't a part of the same kingdom, and Kage's clan did like a lot of horrendous things. But once that they decided to go against the king, they all got slaughtered. Which honestly, I felt so bad for Kage. I know that they said that they killed women and children, but like I don't know, to see like your whole family paraded in front of you was kind of fucked up.
I mean, the reason why they did what the reason why they killed like everything is because they are assassins. They follow the orders of the king.
Yeah,
But I also like the reason why they got betrayed, or because they were killed all, is because the Light Clan. I feel like so in my notes, I think it's in episode 1. I have like Kage, Shadow. No, it was like episode 2. Shadow Clan good, Light Clan bad. So I feel like the Light Clan is like the baddie, the ultimate the baddie of the show. I feel like they're the last boss, and yeah, that's it. I feel like that's the end goal of the show is like defeating the Light Clan.
yeah. Like I would be reminiscent to say like it would be that the we still have yet to explore a lot about like Kage's backstory besides like how he got to where he was right now, which I found to be very like I still love that scene. I like still love that episode. But I think that like the whole idea of it is specifically about like Kage, where his journey started and where it took him was the whole idea that basically Kage and Boji are almost similar in a way, and that they have to be together in order to overcome these odds that a lot of people think of them.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
the moment that Kage you know told Boji that he like at the end of the day, like I think Boji just wanted a friend, and Kage was like you know probably the most like understood where he came from. And then after that you insert like the whole like sadness and sorrow from Naruto soundtrack.
No, I feel like Kage and Boji are like two characters which support each other. Like
Yeah.
one supports the other, and I feel like they work great together. Because like after the time they spend together, I feel like they have a pretty strong bond. So I feel like when it's the turn of Kage, Boshi will be there to support him. So yeah, I feel like they're together. Together, they're great characters. They're true friends, I will say.
Yeah, I they really are. But at the same point, like they also have to go through obstacles to get there because immediately as soon as like this happens, basically shit hits the fan and we end up uh you know after Boji ends up losing his place in to become king. Actually, the first thing I like to talk about is like really like King Boss and like the devil that stepped out of his stomach or out of his mouth when he died.
I mean, there was like one, I believe that's episode 9, when, or episode 8. Yeah, episode 8, when they showed the reason why King Boss actually like went and, made a deal with the demon.
Yeah, but I like to know what like transpired. Like how did that happen? Like how I guess like once that King Boss ended up dying, like the contract was done. But I like what I'd like to understand is like why he was pointing at Boji when before he disappeared.
I feel like that's interesting. At one side, I think the reason why he pointed at him is because he was the one who was sacrificed. His power was sacrificed. But on the other hand, it's like it already his power was already stolen. So I don't know. There must be something else about it. There's so many things. There's so many questions that I have about the show. About so many mysteries still to like uncover. There's so many things still like no.
Yeah, like there's a lot of mysteries involved, especially towards like the very end. Like I feel like that the more the series went on, the more questions you were more questions were created than answers. Cause like again, like that's the whole thing I like about it is like you expect the unexpected. Like you expect like a series about like you think that like one character who goes from like being this nice guy or seems to be a nice guy, and then next thing you know, like he turns out to be evil, but at the same point, he's the good guy because he's doing what thinks is you know the right thing to do. Like you look at Deimos and him pushing Boji off that cliff into the underworld.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, another no. It was the orders of King Daida. Um,
Well, yeah, like he obviously had regrets about it, and then he himself even said that like he was doing it because it was a knight's duty to do his king's orders.
yeah, yeah. I still want to know more about it. I feel like Thomas, he regrets it a lot, but like I don't know, there must be something else about it. I really want to know. I really want to know more about the whole show. It's really interesting.
Oh yeah, no, I think that so far from what we've seen, we've definitely experienced quite a bit of like again, I think that this series deserves more love than it's getting right now. I mean, obviously there's like a lot of people that will debate if like it's one of those series that you don't judge a book by its cover.
I feel like a lot. I think about I feel like Rank of Kings and not Taxi, which were underrated when they just came out. I feel like they are like pretty good. They're pretty popular. So I feel like it's people. I feel like the people who didn't watch Rank of Kings should naturally, but like it's like I. thi- hmm, I don't want to say much. I don't want to say like my end opinion on the show. I wanna watch everything. I wanna wait for everything to come out because like up to now, my feeling about the show is like it's good. I really like it, but it's not really anime of the year. But it's like I still need to know more. I have a lot of questions. So if my questions get answered in the later part of the show, who knows? But like for
Oh
now,
shit, actually we never talked about Deimos. I feel like the dude, how did we not talk about Deimos? Like
demos? You
oh
mean
no, not Deimos, fuck.
how could I?
Boji's teacher. Boji's teacher.
Yeah, Domas.
Dame
Domas.
don't Domas.
Yeah, he
I'm
was who pushed Boshi.
no, that's I'm talking about his teacher. Like
Yeah,
not the
Domas.
no, the good teacher.
You mean that's that thing? That's
The,
the one who trained who gave him the who trained him in the what's it called again?
he's
The
the guy who trains kings.
yeah, in this parts.
Despa.
Yeah, that's bad. That's the one we just talked about earlier.
No,
The one who
that's
trained him.
yeah, but
The,
not
the, the brother of the king of the underworld is him.
yeah, but like I like we never really talked about specifically his like
He's
his whole
he's
thing.
also he's also great. He has a great character.
Dude, I
Despite
love his character. He's so fun. He's like a JoJo's meme.
uh, yeah, I like it.
Cuz
I
when
love
you
there's so many characters that are likable in the show.
oh yeah, like the Underworld King having like that really wide mouth like
Yeah, it's amazing.
but yeah, like he was we never really talked about him because I think that his character is probably the most important like in the first season the most important character because he's the one that taught Boji how to uh use his talents more effectively than like basically from other teachers who taught him who couldn't really like teach him how to swing a sword or anything. Like
I
he
mean, I think that's past more experience in teaching also.
I well, like at the I think that he reminds me a lot like Jiraiya from like Naruto, which is like he's like one of those characters that will teach you something, but it has to be in it for him. Because like when they introduce him, he's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to teach you," and then Kage comes up and says, "I got all this money. All right, come on in."
I mean, that was more of a funny thing, honestly.
I think that's what I love about him is that he's not your typical like teacher that will just do it for like whatever fame and glory. It's like you got money, good. All right, I'll teach you.
Yeah, it's a good guy, but one of great
Oh no,
things for
oh no, he's a terrible guy. But like I
he's
think I'm not a terrible guy, but like
he's not a good guy.
he's not the best teacher you want.
Yeah. So let's go over some of my notes. The OP, the opening is such a banger.
Oh yeah, no,
The
I
opening,
oh no, I love the opening. It's so
the
good.
opening, the opening is such a banger. It's like begins like bum, and then it goes on, and then like it ends. It has such a nice ring to it. It's so like happy-go-lucky, and then like, you know, there are some parts behind it which were now there are some scenes in there where like you can kind of see like foreshadowing, but like it's a great opening. It's a banger.
Yeah, no, it was great. I love dude, I just listened to the second one. I will actually say I love the second one more than the first.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to listen to it. Other notes is Boji is best boy naturally.
Mhm.
If he wins, if Boji wins best boy for Crunchyroll Awards, I will be happy because like before I watched the show, I would I vote for? I think I voted for our Boji or not a character. I don't remember,
We'll have
but
to
like
look at it
honestly,
again.
yeah, but honestly, Boshi, best boy. Other note is the ending. Ending also a nice one.
Oh yeah, no. It is.
It
Mm.
is. I think I voted for. I voted for. Oh, I voted for Senku,
Oh
which
yeah.
is.
I
I mean, I didn't watch Rank of Kings by then,
yeah,
so maybe that's why.
I would again, I'm calling myself a hypocrite for saying like if I didn't watch it beforehand, I would have said like obviously Boji. But like
Yeah, yeah.
I stick to actually one of the things that I would definitely have changed is best movie of 2021 was Gintama the final movie. That was the best movie. Nobody can change my mind.
I mean, it wasn't in the awards, but I
Yeah,
mean,
because nobody in the Western community watches Gintama unless
we need to do a Gintama podcast. Okay,
we'll talk about that
but
one day.
other
But
other notes. The traveling begins in episode 3. The queen is good.
okay,
Oh, Bosch.
actually that's
Yeah.
the thing is that the Snake Baron guy, like I'm surprised about him because I thought he was gonna be um again, one of those bad guys. But when it was revealed that like he asked personally Kage to protect Boji from, was like, that was mind blowing to me, because I thought that he was gonna be like one of those scummy characters, because he's a snake, right? But like
Yeah.
when Kage says to Boji, yeah, I was asked by whatever snake guy to, which after he was like, oh shit, that's not what I saw coming.
Yeah. You know, I also like at the beginning I was like kind of iffy on him, but like the like the I think it was episode 10 when he had this discussion with the snake. I'm like, ooh, ooh. So he's on the part of King Daida, but he also knows about the conflict happening in the castle. So he's an ally of Boshi trying to save Daida.
Yeah, like the fact that he like, even then, like I thought that, oh shit, this guy died. But when it was revealed that he was alive, and not only that, but he was with that, I'm going to say the two-headed snake, but it was actually three, which I actually I find that character to be fascinating, the
Me
two-headed
too.
snake,
Me
because
too. Me too.
starting out, like he basically attacked Boji, but healing, being the best mom, protected him, and then heal, and then proceeded to heal the snake. Was like, that was the part where I was like, I absolutely loved her as a character.
Yeah, it's quite good. Also, another thing I was surprised is Boshi is actually older than Daida.
Well, yeah, that's the point. Is that like
At the beginning of the show, didn't know that. So after the scene where you had Boshi and healing healing like with the baby in her in her stomach. So that was when I was like, oh, so Daida is this younger brother and Boshi is the older one. Oh, so that was the moment I realized. Okay, so that's how it is.
yeah, like when it was like, obviously we all knew that Daida was King Boss's son, but that technically makes like, while Boji is like pure giant, Daida is like both half man and half giant. But the only difference is that like Daida doesn't have like the act. I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to ask about the like what happened, but it happened, I guess. But
Yeah.
but like the fact,
Mm.
but I'd like to find out a little bit more about you know his attributes coming from like King Boss's DNA.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, he has. Yeah, and so continuing, traveling. The episode 3 is where the traveling begins. Episode 4, they arrive at the town. You have the crazy dude, the dude with the crown, and the one who like shows Boji the absorption. Do you
Which,
remember? The crazy guy with the crown on
oh
his
yes,
head with the
okay.
beard.
So I have a theory, and this is, I'm not going to say what happens, but I have a theory. So I've that's obviously like back in one of the earlier seasons, they talk about like a mad king that went crazy. I think he was one of the top ranked kings, and he chose a weapon that made him become crazy. I think that's the same guy.
Interesting.
Like, I don't like. I think that the most interesting thing is that like the whole idea in the background is supposed to be like these characters are part of this whole ranking system. So Daida and Boji are part of a ranking system to determine what place you are in as a king. So like before Bose died, he was the seventh strongest king in all of or was it strongest or seventh best king in all of you know
I I don't. What I know though is the king of the underworld is a second.
yeah, so he is the like yeah, so him being the second, which makes me ask. I think that like the old man was the first, but he got crazy with power and got corrupted by his weapon that he chose. That he, they say he went into like exile and never, nobody ever saw him ever again.
Hmm.
That's my theory, at least.
No, I think you're right. I feel like I think I would agree on your theory. I mean, um, when when a new explanation comes for him, then I will say yeah. But like for now, I think your theory is like I believe it. I find it I find it believable.
Yeah, but although I will say I do love the kind of the Studio Ghibli reference in that episode, the one where the forest spirit comes out and sucks up the life of all dead animals and then replenishes it back to the
I felt
earth.
I felt like also I was like I felt that I was watching an episode of Made in Abyss. To be honest.
Fair enough. Your reference sounds pretty much accurate.
It's I'm right though. Am I not? Like it was literally like such like a strange monster, one of those things you find in the abyss.
I mean, I can understand why, because both of like both May Abyss and Reigning Kings are kind of like don't judge a book by its cover, you know.
Yeah, they are. They are. So continuing. In episode 4, I also naturally have Thomas. Is Thomas the traitor? But we get an explanation why he's not. Then episode 5, you have the reunion. So when Boshi meets Kaga again. So when
I
Boshi
love
falls,
his I love his character. He's so weird, but he's so good.
it is. Um, I also have written grinding King Boss. Oh yeah, when they went under the palace and they basically had the body of King Boss and just in him and they just grinded him like he just he went. They basically just it was such a crazy moment. Um,
Yeah, like his
his vo-
I love his personality, but I think that the funniest thing is that like he's so, when they first look at a statue, it's like, what's up with this guy's mangled face? And
yeah.
it's like that's the photo of him every time he got like beat up every time. So like when he got back from the bar, he had that the same mangled up face.
You're talking about thingy.
Well, him and his brother have like a bit of a feud going on that's been going on for a long time.
Is it? It wasn't it like that? Isn't the king of Underworld? Isn't he like jealous of his brother? That
Yeah, that's what I think, if I remember correctly.
I think it's that. I mean, at least the surface explanation.
But we don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, but they have a very uneasy relationship. But yeah, they keep going. Okay, keep going.
So so do you remember in episode 5 when they went under the palace and they you saw the frozen body of King Boss?
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
that
they
was
just like
fuck. That was unbelievable.
they just grinded him and like the blood and like from a tube his blood came out or his like his soul came out and I was like what what you like
What I found what I found
yeah.
most impressive was that, like, despite all that, like, Daida this refused to drink the potion, despite the fact that like he could have gone strong, potentially strong from that.
I mean, at the end, we knew what didn't make him stronger. At the end,
Like,
it was just a potion for King Boss to get a new body.
yeah, but at the same point, he Daida was smart enough to realize that, okay, I'm going to get strong on my own. I don't need a potion, but um, you know, the mirror was like, nah, you like this isn't your you don't have a say in this.
Yeah, she was like, "You don't have anything to say in this. It's us. We prepared this for such a long time, or something like that." Going on with my notes, in episode 6, you have Apis and King Boss. I believe it's Apis when he meets what's she called again? Biranjo, when they
Yeah.
meet her under the palace. You also have like more of Deher and Desper. Episode 7, my first note is I'm addicted. This show is so good.
Ah,
Then you have like Resurrection, which is basically when you saw that like King Boss was in King Daida's body. And then also wrote Boji, super Boji.
oh yeah, no. That so let's talk like. So I guess that's the one of the things that caught me off guard is that the fact that despite everything Daida did, or oh my god, Deimos, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the Damos or holy shit, the names Damos, I think.
Damos, despite everything, he still taught like Boji how to like create like make his powers useful, like his abilities useful. Because like despite the fact that everything, he's still technically a giant because he states that like he may not look like it, but he still has the abilities of a giant because he was able to consume poison without you know because
Wait,
giants have the ability
you
to
mean you mean Desper or Desper, not Domas?
yeah. So his him claims like the curse doesn't only affect his body, but he still has the ability of a regular giant like his both his parents, which I we never really talked about his mom, but we'll talk about that next season because apparently it gets better. But
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, the fact that they decide that like what let me ask. So, were you surprised about Boji's weapon?
Yeah, I was. I mean, naturally, I was surprised. I didn't think he would use a rapier, but after watching his fight against those three guys, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense why he will do that. It's like because first of all, for a rapier, you don't need any power. Like normally, in the real world, for a rapier, you don't need any power. You just need to dodge and like basically like stab it in somebody's body and they die. You don't need force. You just need to put it in them, and and with Boji, it made sense because like Boji doesn't have strength. So what do you do when you don't have any strength? You use a weapon which doesn't take strength to damage or to kill somebody. And even besides that, Boshi is really good at dodging, and his speed is also really fast. Because like the big snake, trained him in dodging. So basically, the reason why Boshi now no the reason why he's strong is because he basically it's his speed plus his accuracy, and now he's deadly. Like he can basically knock somebody out by just like missing every organ and like hitting the knockout point of somebody. So like he needs to learn the weak point of each race. He needs
Yeah,
to learn the weak point of a human, of an orc. So like I feel like that's really interesting. That's a really great way to make him stronger.
although like what made me you question Deimos, or what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Now I
yeah.
have it on top. Now you got me confused. I gotta look this up. But
It's
what
Desper. It's the
the
guy with the beautiful face.
yes, which okay, we'll talk about that. That was funny, but that whole confrontation at the bar where they were eating and first of all, before we get to the fight, I love the scene where they're eating and those orcs just show up out of nowhere. There's like, oh, that's the guy that fought me like a couple days ago, and they're making fun of everybody or making fun of Boji, and like he's like, you can make fun of us, but like it takes a real man to like stand up for himself or whatever. And then and then they make fun of his face by calling him like a camel or something. He's like he just loses. He punches him. That was, oh my god! I love that scene. That was funny.
Yeah, it
But
was.
but yeah, the fact that now I don't know if whether or not Boji actually landed a successful hit on those, or they were just faking it, because the reveal after, which was he paid some of the guards to
I mean,
stage that fight.
they didn't want to have been paid because like they serve under him, but like no, no, they what they faked, what they faked is punching and being serious. They punched the Desper, but like they serve under him, so they faked it. But him actually passing out was like true. It was like actually like it was not no, it was planned, but like it wasn't him just faking it. Basically, what I'm trying to say is Boshi actually like did it is actually strong.
Yeah, like the fact that he has that rapier, that sword that matches them, matches his ability not to be able to lift up heavy things, is a perfect match for him. And the
Yeah,
fact that Demo or
Despair.
Despa taught him how to use that ability to become effective in combat. I found that to be very interesting, because considering the fact that his dad was known for swinging a giant club at his enemies, and not only that, but his mom too, made it be like, so this kid's just, so this is a different type of fighting style that you know he'll have to adapt to.
Yeah, I mean, naturally he has to adapt to, but like even then, like I feel like if Boji trains enough with that power, he will be like stronger than a giant. Because like a giant, yeah, it has power, but if Budgie is able to dodge and like be able to know how a giant fights, he can when he's fast enough, he can be able to run on top his arm and just go into the weak point of a giant and win. So like I feel like Borchi is the strongest just because he's so fast. He's fast enough to like dodge the attacks and go for the weak point, the weakness of each character.
Yeah, just between both, like him having higher speed, which honestly I do not get why people were overreactive about his ability to be able to dodge attacks, just because it's not king like or whatever.
I mean, I feel like maybe like I also don't know much about it, but like I feel like another reason is because because Boshi didn't have a counter attack. He knew how to dodge, but he didn't have an attack to actually you know you know do the killing blow. He was able to hit Daida, but even if he had used a normal sword, he wouldn't be able to really kill it because like he doesn't have the power to slash with a sword. Well, with the rapier, he doesn't need to use strength. He just needs to push the rapier into it, into like the the weak point of, or also into the organ basically.
Yeah, him saying that he could potentially even kill somebody.
Yeah, because that's why he's why he's stronger now. It's like if he wants, he can just kill you by going to your organs. So I find that really interesting, really interesting. But let's continue. Let's continue. So
Okay.
episode 8 is Ted is when the sons use a sacrifice. Ted a gun. King bosses plan. Episode 9 is Drusi against the demons. Milenja is a witch. Daida suffering. Oh, he also said the episode 9 was the episode where Healing went crazy, or where she was trying to find Daida in the king's room, in throne room.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah, go ahead.
Episode 10 was Boshi becomes a rapier user. He learns the death parts. And episode 11 is Hakuro and Doma's training, Miranjo, Miranjo's face, and a war? Question mark.
Well, okay, so I guess first of all, I congratulate you for finally watching all this because it's I absolutely loved everything about this series up until now. But I guess I guess before we finish off, is there any questions that what's your main question you want answered before like the series ends? Not the series, but like maybe the season. I hope it continues.
I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I'd like to. There are a lot of plot points or a lot of stinks that are I have a lot of questions for the show, which still needs to be answered in the later episodes. So all I can say is I'm curious to how they will like go on with those points basically with voting of the mother and father of the parents of Boji, his powers, Miranya, how she came onto King Bosses. There's so many things which still needs an answer, but like honestly, the show, it wasn't. I feel like it was kind of overhyped, but like besides that, it's a great show. It's a really good
Overhyped?
show.
You mean like hardly anybody talked about it?
Yeah, a lot of people talked about it. A lot of people watch it. It's not
I
underrated.
don't. I don't. Well, it was at the very beginning, but now it's. I
I
still
feel like
think that even I feel like that the saying the word over. I feel like the overhype is
I wouldn't
justified.
say overhyped, but like it's not so much about it. Like King of Ranking of Kings and Odd Taxi are the shows where I'm like, oh, this is interesting, and also like where people really a lot of people talked about it, how good it is, and I can see why. I also really like it. But yeah, I need to watch the rest of it. Maybe the second part of the show is much better. Who knows?
So I'm gonna say like we have a while before we even do the next episode. So in the meantime, we'll keep watching Ranking of Kings. Finally catch up onto it, and then when the final episode comes out, we'll obviously do
The final episodes of it.
the final episode. But until then, we'll still continue with our other
Maybe
series. So we can either do uh continue with Vinland Saga, or you can watch the first 12 episodes of Jujutsu Kaisen.
I feel like we've taken a break from Vinland Saga, and I feel like we can return to it. So I feel like we can do Vinland Saga, the Farmland Saga, next week, and the week after it take another break from Vinland Saga and begin Jujutsu Kaisen. And Ranking of Kings should finish by March, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, like it's gonna go until like the new season, or
Yes,
so like the
spring
spring
season.
season. So
Yeah. So I feel like that means that we will watch. So next week is Vinland Saga, and the week after it's Jujutsu Kaisen. So I will begin watching Jujutsu Kaisen, so, because otherwise it will be the same problem that I had now with this show.
yep.
But no, yeah, yeah.
Actually, trust me, you're gonna need like 2 weeks to watch Jujutsu Kaisen.
I can't wait to. I
It
can't
took
wait
me
to.
4 months to want to watch the first
I
12 episodes.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
Okay, so until then, yeah, so we'll probably do Vinland's. I'm happy to do Vinland Saga. We'll figure out the chapters later on,
Yeah.
and then yeah, we'll figure it out. But all right, is there anything else you want to say before we finish up?
Watch ranking of shows and watch 86.
Watch Ranking of Kings. It's so good. We highly recommend it. I'm definitely going to do a video next week on my own personal thoughts of Ranking of Kings,
Yeah.
and Until then, stay tuned. Also, please like, subscribe, comment on this video. It means a lot. If you have any future ideas for content like anime or manga we should be reading right now, please put in the description down below. Until then, have yourself a good one. Bye.
Bye.